All right, guys. Same day, same time. Today is Thursday, which means that we are going to spend probably around an hour to discuss the current trends with immigration, the current approvals that we have in the company, and also, of course, we will have the main topic today to discuss the opening up and registering a business in the US for the purpose of immigration and using that company for the purpose of visas like E2, L1, O1, maybe EB5, maybe EB2 national interest waiver, and others. So registering business in the US, guys, is something that you have to do if you are thinking about the business immigration, or even sometimes with a talent immigration, but through your talent in business. So that's what we are going to discuss today. So I see that you keep joining. Please smash that like button. So I know that you guys appreciate my time and you appreciate the content that I create for you. And also, let's see where you guys from. Last time you were a little bit shy on exposing your location. So drop it down, drop it where you're from, the city, the country, and of course, take an example of with the fix my books. Just starting with the questions, and you guys know it that I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna demand that you ask me questions, okay? Because definitely I have things to share with you, but I want to see what interests you, okay? For many reasons. First of all, so we could have a quality time together, you know, like when we have a beautiful date. So on Thursday we have a date with you, and we want to have a lot of quality time. So that quality time means that you're asking me questions. All right, so let's start. Let's warm up a little bit with the recent approvals in the company. Just today in the morning, we got a fresh approval of O1 visa, by the way, in business. And the client is from, I think, either Armenia or Georgia. I think he's from Georgia. So he's a businessman in Georgia where he created a telecom system for hotels. And basically, we built his case around that one system that he created and implemented in certain hotels in Georgia and planning to do it in other countries. So this is a great thing for a talent visa in the field of business, because if you have some type of product or service that you are implementing in industry, you're selling it, and you basically building your business around it. This is also very good for your talent visa. Okay, so that's the first approval that we got, just very fresh from today. We also have two approvals for EB1A visas, the green cards, the extraordinary people. And let me actually refresh where the talent is from. So the first EB1A is for our client from Russia. He's an IT person. So basically approval for in the category of STEM. There is a cute detail in that case. We got an RFE. Our RFE is a request for evidence about 2 months ago, and we got two criteria satisfied. And the rest, the immigration officer had a couple of questions. So I prepared a separate strategy to respond to RFE. The client and a team worked on the response documents. We submitted it and we got the approval. So congratulations to Andrei, our client from Russia, who is a talented IT specialist. And the last approval, last but not least, I take a special pride in this approval, guys. Why? Because this is EB1A with a financial advisor. Okay, very hard case. Very hard case. Not because the client is not talented. We work with the talented people, but it's very hard to prove that you are a successful financial advisor, because this is a very volatile industry, right? Like Bitcoin. Today it's 30, tomorrow it's 40. In 2 weeks, it's back to 20, very volatile, right? So sometimes it's very hard with the financial advisors and people working in financial sector to prove their achievements and the recognition, because the nature of this field. But we managed, and this is a really good case because the client is here in the US on F1 visa, meaning he goes to school, and we were able to get his past achievements and recognition when he was back in his country, make a successful strategy, follow up with the strategy, filing the case, and get an approval with no RFE. Okay, so congratulations to all 3 clients, and we're expecting more approvals this week, because it's still Thursday and we have Friday, and sometimes approvals comes on Saturday. By the way, if we count Saturday for the new week, we had another O1 visa for a businesswoman from I believe Russia. She's also from Russia. The lady who is a successful businesswoman in a private property, So this is also a very good case. All right, so let's see, guys, drop your questions. We are going to talk about registering business in the US today and using that company for the purpose of immigration, probably business immigration. However, again, we can use it for O1 visa and maybe for other ones in the field of business. So let's see, fix my books. Would it be good to open a company in the US for EB2 national interest waiver before you file the visa? Excellent question. Excellent question. And the answer to this question is it depends. It depends, right? In many instances, probably in 90% of the cases, I would recommend that you open a company in the States for the purpose of EB2 national interest waiver. Why? Well, first of all, it makes your petition more serious, okay? Because the immigration officer sees, okay, not only we are claiming a proposed endeavor, that's something that we would be doing, and we're well positioned and things like that, but we also already have a company. All right, and especially it's good with the consulting services. All right, and in many instances, NIW gets through with the consulting services. All right, at least the way we make a shell for this petition. And when I say shell, it's in a good sense of it, right? Not that that's something empty inside. No, it's just the framework for this visa. It's a very good idea, okay? And especially if you have a business component to your endeavor, to your project. So I would recommend to open probably an LLC, because it's a easy way to do. And we're also going to discuss in more details the difference between LLC and a C Corp and other type of companies, and we're going to do it today, all right? And we're going to discuss it even for different kind of visas, which formation is better, which has more potential, which is easier to manage, and things like that. So fix my books, yes. The answer to your question is, although I said it depends, but in many instances it's recommended to have an LLC for the purpose of EB2 national interest waiver. And I can help you with that, okay? I can help you with the registering company in any state. So don't be shy to ask about the pricing when you get to this point and things like that. I will be more than happy to help you. Okay, Mr. Hayes. Last time I still couldn't pronounce your name, so I'll be calling you Mr. Hayes. I hope I pronounce your last name properly. I have no problem with calling you that, so let's see what you got today. Thank you for this topic, Stanislav, definitely. And guys, the topics that I come up for the streams, guess what I'm getting it from? From your questions, right? Ask questions under my videos. Drop questions here, ask questions in the Insta, because it's the same group of people who collects all the questions from you, and I'm the one answering them, okay? So if I see that you guys keep asking similar questions, I'll be like, okay, it's time for the stream on YouTube, or maybe for the post on Insta, or maybe a Reels or TikTok on TikTok. So don't be shy, drop as many questions as you want, because it actually helps me to build a better content for you. So e-commerce is still in its infancy. Okay, sounds like like an essay. Okay, yes, it's true. We came up with a new line of products that will help with all industries, and would love to bring the manufacturing of those products to the US. Music to my ears. We hope to begin with your team before the end of this year as our brand takes off. Mr. Hayes, a few comments. First of all, thank you for the trust, okay? It's not my words, it's the words of my clients that we and our processes and our approaches are the best, okay? So I think this is a good, and the 9 out of 10 approvals speaks volumes, okay? So we know what we're doing. And commenting on the basically the content of your message, Mr. Hayes, is when I hear things like that, what you said, okay, we have a new line of product, it's going to help many industries, and we're going to bring it to the US, we're taking off, so meaning you're growing and scaling very fast. That, for me, is a signal that we can consider different type of visas. All right? It's always good to have a few programs that I can use to offer to you, depending on your final goals, on your current situation, and things that you can improve in your petition, okay? So taking all three into consideration, I'm seeing here O1, I'm seeing here E2, L1, EB1A, EB2 national interest waiver, and even possibly EB5, depending on the scale of investment and on the scale of the business idea, okay? And this is great. Why? Because when we have options, we can discuss those options. We can find the best solution to those options. I can build up the strategy to accommodate all the needs that we have. All right. So sounds just great. And Mr. Hayes is laughing because of because of the name. But hey, I think because you are doing such great things, Mr. Hayes, that's the way I wanna name you. Okay, yeah, and you know, it's good I make you laugh, because you know, immigration laws, guys, and you know it, they're so boring. Okay, that's so boring. So in Russian, there is a saying, when a person is really trying hard to do something, like you can say, okay, Stanislav is jumping out of his pants. Okay, like this. I don't know if there's equivalent in your language. Let me know if there is something close. Like, I'm jumping out of my pants to make it entertaining for you guys, because it's so boring, you know. So I'm bringing you cases, I'm bringing you examples, I'm bringing you the fresh approvals. So we bring some emotions, you know, something to laugh about. So you know, I'm taking pride that you're laughing at something I get to say, because you know, like I said before, immigration law is not something that's really entertaining in itself. Okay, so yeah. All right, so guys, keep dropping the questions, because this is something what I strongly feel I can bring you the most value. Okay, and if let's say I'm going to start discussing today's topic, the registering of business and how we can use those companies for the purpose of immigration. If something is not clear, if something I'm telling you, like, oh my God, like maybe a second meaning to it, right? Like you didn't get what I'm saying, don't worry about it, okay? Just drop it in the comment section. I'll take a look, maybe I'll rephrase, I'll explain better, I'll use more examples. So this is something I'm expecting from you guys. All right, so let's start from the roots. Let's start from the beginning. What it actually means to open up and register a business in the US. Okay, let's start from far away, and we're gonna get into more details as we go with the material. So, number one thing that I want to discuss with you, I constantly see it online, on forums, on Telegram, on Instagram, even on YouTube, that some people say, hey, I'm a foreigner, I'm not in the US. I cannot register a company in the US because I'm a foreigner, or something like I need an American citizen to be in a company so I could register it. Or I need to have an American director or manager in order to register a company and file for all the paperwork for EIN, to have a bank account and things like that. Guys, this is not true. Okay? This is not true. You don't have to be an American citizen. You don't have to be a green card holder. You don't have to have a visa. Actually, you don't have to be in the US at all to register the company. Okay? All you need is a will, to desire to open the company, and actually execution on this desire. That's all. Of course, definitely you'll need to know the state where you want to register. You need to have an address where your company is gonna be. You need to have a registered agent. Who's the registered agent? It's a company, an entity, or a physical person who will receive the documents from the court in case your company is being sued. Okay, so if somebody wants to sue your company, they're going to deliver the complaint and the summons to your registered agent. Okay, so that's the purpose of registered agent. And also you have to have an EIN. Okay, so let's take it step by step. First of all, the state where you want to open up your company, where you want to register it. Well, probably the state will depend on where you are going to be located yourself. All right. When we speak about e-commerce, as Mr. Hai is mentioning, that may be not as significant to register where you're gonna be, like where you're gonna live, because e-commerce spreads across all the states. So I would choose probably the state which does not have additional taxes on the companies. And then you will have to probably re-register your company in those states where you sell your services or goods. Okay, but let's not get too complicated. Okay, so you may register a company in one state and do e-commerce in all the states in the US, basically all across the globe. So that's the bottom line of my message. Second, the address. Stanislav, I don't have the address. Okay, I don't have the address. I don't have the registered agent. Like, who's that person? How can I get that? Like, can I be my self-registered agent? Definitely. You can be your self-registered agent, so you can claim yourself as a registered agent. I don't advise it to do it that way though, because it's kind of well, especially if you want to deal with other companies, or if you want to bring additional investment in your company, like being yourself as a registered agent, like doesn't really look serious. Okay, so if you have a future, if you just want to have your company, you don't depend on anybody, you're not looking for any investment, you don't worry about other companies working with you, no problem. Okay, you can put your name, you can put your address in the States, and you can serve as your own registered agent and maybe save some money. Why? Well, because there are companies that provide the service of a registered agent, you can make your own company your registered agent. There's no problem, and we can provide you this service as well. Okay, we can help you out to find the address and the registered agent. So this is kind of comes in a package if you hire me to open up a company for you. All right, and other services that help you with the company, they can do the same. So you don't have to worry about the address or registered agent if you hire other companies to open up a registered company in the US. Okay, so this is not a biggie. This is not a problem. Now let's talk about the difference between LLC and corporation. And this is a very complicated topic, especially if we start talking about taxation and double taxation for the C Corp, if we start discussing the possible investment in the company in the future, and if you start having partners in the company, then it's getting even more complicated. And just to discuss the topic, the difference between LLC and the C Corp, we can take up the whole stream. Okay, so not to get too complicated on that, let me break it down to you the way I see it most fit for our situation here. So, if you are the only owner of the company, and if you do not see how your company is going to make more than 100K in a net profit in the near 2 to 3 years, okay, then probably LLC is the best option for you. So, two things to look at. You're the only owner, okay, so you're 100% shareholder or the unit holder, to proper way to say it for LLC, because remember, LLC has units, basically the stock, it's called unit, and corporation has stock, okay? So 100% stock in the corporation and 100% units in the LLC. So if you own it by yourself, and if you do not plan to make over 100K in net profit, guys, net profit, okay? It's not your salary. It's not gross profit. It's not your gross sales. It's the net profit, meaning that after all the everything that came in the company, minus the deductions, all the expenses, that's the net income, okay? So if within 2-3 years ahead, you do not plan or you don't see how you're going to make $100,000 in a net profit, then it's an LLC, all right? If your profit is going to be more than 100K, and regardless of how many owners you have in the company, then you should consider C Corp. And some of you are going to be like, Stanislav, well, but C Corp has double taxation. Yes, C Corp has double taxation. However, it's not as scary as people try to paint it, okay? And that's why I'm giving you this cutting point of 100K, where if you make more than that, then it makes sense to go with a double taxation, because it's going to be pretty much the same as LLC on how much taxes you're going to pay, but C Corp has other advantages. For example, if you have a loss in particular year, you can transfer that loss to the future income, to the future profit in C Corp. In LLC, if you have a loss in this particular year, that's it. It doesn't go to the next year, like you start fresh, all right? So that's one of the advantages that C Corp has. It has more, but just having that is already giving you a lot of leverage to set off your future income with your past expenses, with your past loss, all right? Again, you need to discuss this with your accountant. It's very important to work with an accountant when you're starting your business in the US, because a lawyer like me, I can help you out with the registering, with structuring the company, with the the relationship between partners, with the future investment, but the person who will be responsible for the taxes is an accountant, okay? And the reason why I'm saying that, maybe for some of you, it's like, duh, like, everybody knows it, right? But no, not everybody knows it, guys. Some people still think that like a lawyer is going to take care of the whole business. No, in America, it's separate. A lawyer takes care of the law, accountant takes care of the taxes. God forbid you need a tax attorney. Because if you need a tax lawyer, a tax attorney, that means that IRS is on you, okay? They already have an investigation, maybe your case is in the court, so you don't want to have a tax attorney on your business, because that means you're in a lot of trouble, okay? So this is off topic. Okay, so Stanislav, why you are not discussing S Corp? You are speaking only about C Corp. But we know that there is C Corp and there is S Corp. What's the difference, and why you're not discussing it when you talk about this topic? Well, if someone you got this question, amazing, because this is a very deep question. If not, for educational purposes, you guys as foreigners cannot be a part of S corporation. Okay? And the S corp is the classification for the purpose of IRS. IRS. Okay? This is the tax agency in the US. So C corp and S corp, it's on the level of taxation. On the level of the state, it's the same corporation. It's the same Inc. or corp. Like let's say XYZ Corp, XYZ Inc. is the same thing for the purpose of the state. The state knows it's a corporation. They don't care if you're S Corp or a C Corp. The entity that cares is the IRS. Okay? And because the tax code says that for the purpose of S Corp election, and you have to elect it in case you can, okay? You cannot be a foreigner. You has to be either US citizen, a green card holder, or there's a third category, a person who lives in the state, I believe, for more than a year. So there's an exception, or there is a way for you to switch from C Corp to S Corp once you lived in the States for a certain amount of time. But again, you have to consult with an accountant. All right, don't take my word on it because it's a very serious topic. And what is the advantage of S Corp across everything else? I do believe that S Corp is the best between LLC and by the way, LLC is taxed as a partnership. Okay, so LLC is for the purpose of the state, but for the purpose of IRS, it's a partnership. All right. Again, it's more for educational purposes. Don't remember it. Don't worry about it. Maybe some of you is like, okay, I want to go deep on that. You'll be able to do your research. All right. And by the way, guys, you probably didn't know that you may have LLC registered with the state, but for the purpose of IRS, you can switch to C Corp or maybe S Corp in the future. Okay. I guess you didn't know that. All right, but again, for educational purposes, if one day you have to deal with this, you remember, oh, Stanislav said that I can have LLC, but taxed as a C Corp or S Corp. Okay, that might be to the benefits in the future. So why I think S Corp is the best among all these? C Corp, S Corp, partnership, and there's more. There's more to it, but these are the main ones. Well, because S Corp allows you to pay yourself a reasonable salary and take the rest of the income as your dividend, as your, well, actually dividend is not the best word, distribution. It's not dividend, it's distribution, okay? When you go to your accountant with the S Corp and she's gonna say, oh, you paid yourself dividend, you say, no. I paid myself a distribution. I distributed that income. Why? Because there's a difference in the tax. So, for example, my company, it's an S Corp. Okay, so I pay myself a reasonable salary as an attorney, and the rest income that my company makes, I pay myself as a distribution. Okay. And why? Why is it the best solution to the choosing of the entity? Well, because on the distribution you do not pay self-employment tax and some other taxes that you pay on your salary, and that amount of money that you pay on a salary is like additional 16%, which you don't pay on your distribution. Okay. So what people do in the States, they try to make, they form S corporation, they pay themselves the smallest possible reasonable salary, okay, and they take the rest of the money as a distribution and they pay less taxes on that, okay. I hope I didn't confuse you guys, okay? I hope I didn't confuse you because, you know, again, this is topic more for the accountants, but because I'm also doing the corporate work, I know those little things with the formation of the company and some tax laws, okay? I'm familiar with that. That's why I can explain on the educational level, so you could start doing your research on that, okay? So that's enough information for you to do your own research. All right, so let's see if we have any more questions. Edward, an IT company owner here. Okay, I have a plan to create another branch in the US. All right. Could you perhaps advise which state would have the most flexible conditions in terms of rates and taxes? Well, Edward, that's it's a complex question. It's a very complex question, and we could spend like 20 minutes just discussing that. However, for the purpose of ease of explanation and understanding, because it's a very dense material, I would advise you to probably go with LLC and look for the state where there is no additional personal income tax. For example, Florida. Okay, if you register LLC in Florida, you will have no taxes on the level of the state for the company because LLC is not taxed in Florida. And Florida does not have a personal income tax if you live in Florida. Okay, so this seems to me a good recipe for registering of LLC. Maybe some attorney will tell you, hey, go to Delaware. Okay, like Delaware, everybody knows Delaware, Delaware, Delaware. We hear it all the time. Just register in Delaware because nobody is going to know who you are. You don't have to put your name on the registration papers, so it's anonymous. Nobody knows who owns that LLC. Also, Delaware is good because they have really good corporate laws, and in case you get to sue someone or somebody sues your company, you'll get a fair treatment because the judges are very competent in Delaware. They know the corporate law, so it's kind of you have the best protection. Also, because you may consider to bring investment or investors to your company that's registered in Delaware, a lot of investors like to see your company in Delaware because they feel more protected. Okay, just because of the laws are very good in Delaware, on the LLC, on the corporations, and investors, they know it. So they more prone to go with the Delaware company because they feel that's most beneficial to them. All right, but if your LLC, Edward, is going to be just continuation of your business, whatever service you're going to sell, you don't see the new partners, you don't see the investors, you don't care if the state knows who you are or if they don't, then Delaware will make no sense to you. All right? And maybe even bring more expenses because you may live in one state and provide services in this state, but you're registered in Delaware, so your accountant has to look at different states, so maybe it's going to bring you more headache. All right? So, of course, there could be a lot more details on that, okay? For example, if you're planning to get O1 visa for your IT company, maybe that's the case for you. So maybe you want to register in the state that that goes to a particular immigration center, for example, California or Vermont, okay? So O1K goes either in Vermont or in California. So maybe you wanna that your company is attached to a California center because they're better with IT, they're better with understanding of your immigration petition. So that's where you're gonna go, and you wanna register in those 50% of the states that goes to the California Immigration Center. That's another consideration, and there is more to it. Okay, there is more to it depending on the type of visa, and if you want to get a visa at all. Maybe you just want to do it as simply as a means of a commerce, right? Maybe you don't want to come to the state, you just want to have a company here, do the commerce. Then, you know, less concerns. The less concerns we have, the better for the business, okay? Because then we don't have to put in the equation all this craziness, the immigration, the visa, the state, which office is going to get it, if it's an immigrant visa, if it's non-immigrant visa. That's a lot of considerations, okay? So the less the concerns, the better for the business. Okay. CyberSec DMS, given Iranian nationality and the nature of my cybersecurity, TAL, business in Germany, likely subjecting me to AP, and I guess AP is administrative something, so administrative hold. Which visa category would provide the fastest process upon registration of LLC, S Corp? Probably it's S Corp, because if you're a foreigner, you cannot register S Corp, so it would be C Corp. Okay, so for the category of visa, CyberSec. I do not believe that simply being a citizen of Iran adds up something extra to the petition. I really don't believe it. Why? Well, because I believe in a democracy and I believe in a rule of law in the States. And I know it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it's the best. It's the best what we have. So just being from a particular country, Syria, Lebanon, Iran, North Korea, China, Russia, Ukraine, whatever that is, it doesn't really change the analysis for the immigration officer or for the consulate employee. Okay? It really does not. However, if your security level is very high, so honestly, I do not know what TAL is. So I guess it's some level of how well you know the industry or your security clearance. So that could be something where the embassy is going to look just to understand if you're a spy. Okay. CyberSec, not that I'm saying you're a spy, but that's the train of thoughts they would get. Okay, so, and then once they see cybersecurity, then they see Iran, and then they'll think, okay, we need to see the background check for this person. It may happen, it may not, and it will not depend on your citizenship. It will not depend on other considerations. They just want to make sure that you will not come to the US to steal some kind of intellectual property, some secret, maybe recruit some people to do crazy things, you know. So that's the concern. All right. So once they see, okay, this guy has been working in Germany for a long time. You know, he's working in a good company. He has good recommendations. They interview you, so they're gonna look at it all together and probably maybe give you a couple of months of headache, but finally approve it. Okay, and it would not matter if it's O1, if it's L1, if it's E2, if it's E2 national interest waiver. Probably easier with the immigrant visas. Probably easier. Okay, they still can put you on hold and do administrative inquiry into you, but you know, when you get approved for the immigrant visa, this is more serious. They have to have a serious, like really serious cause or some kind of evidence that you can do harm to the US to deny, right? In my practice for 8 years, I've never had a single person who got approval for the green card from any country in the world who got denied at the level of the embassy. Okay, not a single person. Yes, some of them got on administrative hold. Yes, some of them waited longer, but ultimately all got in the US. All right, so CyberSec, I would look at the facts of your case and think more which program is best for you. Okay, because regardless of the visa of the program, if they want to do the administrative check on you, they're going to do it. Okay, and by the way, thank you for explaining technology alert list. Yes, so technology alert list is something that embassy is going to consider and see if you need additional administrative check or not. Okay, so Kravchenko, Mr. Kravchenko, he's saying in Russian, "Hey people, hi everybody, how's everybody doing?" Mr. Kravchenko, everybody's doing just great. Because we're talking about immigration, about company registration, about the visas. So we're having a quality time. We have a really good quality time here. All right. So Let's go back to the company registration. We talked about the state. We talked about the addresses, about registered agent. We discussed the difference between LLC and a C Corp. We discussed what S Corp is. And we started discussing the programs which are going to be good for this or that type of formation. Okay? So, and that actually, guys, is my first inquiry to you. When you come up to me and say, hey, Stanislav, I want to register a company in the US, what's the best form, how I do this and that. And that's actually, I had yesterday a client from India, and he's a good candidate for L1 visa. And but before I knew that, he was asking those questions. And guess what? My first response was, what is your ultimate goal? Okay, what do you want to do with this company? Why do you want to register it? And the answers could be different. Most popular, I want to just make money. So commerce, I want to do commerce. I don't care about immigration. I want to just make my money. That's it. It's good enough. Number two, I want to come to the States and actually run the business. Okay, here we can start thinking about immigration visas. And if that's the inquiry, what's the ultimate purpose in that? Do you want to come and run the business because that's the way you're going to make more money, because you're present in the US and you can meet with your clients, you can meet with the vendors, you can grow and scale your business through networking, okay? Or you want to do this and also get some type of immigrant status, and maybe sometime you want to get the green card, okay? Or you want to just come for 3 years, or maybe for 5 years, for 7 years, work, start your business, put somebody in charge, and go back to your country, okay? So all these scenarios are valuable, okay? They're all valid for the purpose of inquiry when you guys talk to me, all right? So I want to know, what is your final goal? And in many instances, probably 70 to 90% of the clients who come to me with this question, the ultimate goal is the green card. Okay? So the registering of the company is only a tool to get some type of visa to be able to come to the US and possibly get a green card immediately or sometime in the future. Okay? So let me give you an example or a few examples what those strategies may look like. First of all, the simplest one is L1 visa to EB1C. Okay? What is L1 visa? You have a business in your country, you have at least 15 employees under your control with a three-step control of your company. So there's you, there are managers, and there are people subordinates to the managers, okay? So this, the triangle, so-called triangle. And you want to open up your company in the US, maybe it's a startup business, maybe you want to purchase an existing business, transfer yourself to that business, start scaling it, and that's how you're going to get L1 visa. And then once you scale your business to 8 employees in the States, you can file for EB1C and get a green card for yourself and your whole family. All right, so that's one way to come to the States through your own company, scale it, and get a green card. All right, so that's one way. Same thing with E2. All right, if you're from the right country and the right country that signed a treaty with the US that allows to file for E2 visa, you can still, even though you may have your business running in your country or any other country besides US, you can get E2, scale that company, and still get EB1C, as long as your company in a foreign country is still running. All right. So the path to EB1C may be through L1, E2, or even O1. And let's talk about O1 now. So some of you know, some of you don't, that O1 is a talent visa, and there's a business category. Just like I told you in the beginning, we got one O1 approval for a business person this week, and last week we got 3. So O1 for business people, okay? And all of them got O1 approved through their own company. So the way it's done, register a company in the US, we prove at least 3 criteria out of the 8 for O1A. Of course, it's 3, but we usually file for 5 to 7. We get an approval. So you come to the US as a talented businessman to run your own company. Bingo. Very, very popular way to start your immigration process in the US. And what's good about O1, that it does not require the investment, at least for the purpose of immigration laws. Definitely you have to put the money in the company to grow it, to scale it, but that's the business purpose, okay? Because E2, L1, and EB5, they all require an investment. Like, we have to show that you have the money on the business checking, and for the purpose of E2, you already have to spend at least 70% of your investment. So that's another level, okay? O1, no requirement. Here's a company, a talented person who comes to run his own company, all right? Very good solution for a lot of you, okay? Maybe you didn't think about it. Maybe you think, oh, I'm not a talented person. Trust me on these guys. None of these people, the 4 O1 approvals for the past 2 weeks in the category of business, none of these people are famous. Nobody knows about them. They did not achieve anything excellent. Okay, they're just good businessmen. They know what they're doing. They know how to implement the strategy that Stanislav created for them. All right. So I tell you what exactly you need to do for the purpose of getting approval for your O1 talent visa through your business. Okay. So, and that's the main purpose why we meet for the complex immigration planning, where you get that strategy in writing after we finish. So if you think you're not talented, if you like, oh my God, I need to be a Nobel Prize winner. No, it's not like that, all right? We're still searching for the bottom of how low we can go with O1 visa that gets approved, okay? We're still searching because some petitions that we file, they're like, oh my God, it's so weak. Sometimes it's so weak, like when the client's like, Stanislav, please, like, I know there's a risk, but let's file. Of course, we do a great job. We strengthen it as much as we can. And when we get an approval, it's like, wow. I don't know how low we can go, okay? We didn't reach the bottom yet. Because sometimes it's like, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with what we do. And you guys know it, that for the whole history of my company, so for 8 years, for dozens and dozens of O1 visas that we filed, we got only 1 denial. All right, so we have like 99% approval rate for O1 visa. So that speaks volumes as well. All right, so let's see questions. We have about 10 minutes to go, guys. Mr. Kravchenko says, I was in your last webinar, and it was amazing. Definitely. If you guys don't come to my webinars, which are like once a month approximately, like you're shooting yourself in the foot. Because on webinars, we go so deep into criteria. I give you so many real-life examples, and I explain to you what exactly it takes to get this particular visa or that one. All right? If the webinar is on a talent visa, we go by the criteria, and I exactly tell you what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. All right? So our webinars are amazing. And thank you, Mr. Kravchenko, for good words. After my I-140 petition gets approved on an expedited petition, okay, can I move to the US and wait for my EB2 national interest waiver green card in the US? Well, it depends. It depends. And by the way, I think this is a great question to kind of wrap up our discussion today, because you guys know that EB1A category starting August is getting backlogged. Okay, so for many years, for past 5 years, EB1A, EB1 category was always current for the purpose of starting your immigration process or adjustment of status if you are in the US. Okay, so there was no backlog. Starting April 1st, if your priority date is beyond April 1st, 2023, you will have to wait. Okay, so okay, let me first, because I'm gonna go to the visibility and I'm gonna forget. So let me answer the Mr. Kravchenko's question. So, Mr. Kravchenko, if your priority date is before April 22nd, because that's the backlog for EB2 category right now, you can come to the US on a non-immigrant status without intention to change your status. Okay, so you come for the tourist purposes, or you come to study on F1, or you come for whatever other reason you have, maybe for O1 visa, maybe for L1, E2. So you cross the border without intention to adjust your status. But 3 months pass, and you're like, oh my God, I can adjust, I have my approval. You can do it. Okay, so provided that your priority date is before April 2022, and you are in the US, and 90 days passed from the time of your entrance, you can file I-485, adjustment of status, one for each family member. Okay, so Mr. Kravchenko, if you have a wife, or if you, I don't know, because Kravchenko could be a guy or a girl, so if you have a spouse, and maybe you miss Kravchenko, I'm sorry, I didn't think of it, but okay, Kravchenko. So you have 2 kids, a baby boy, a baby girl, a spouse. So for people, you file 4 I-485s. Okay, one for each person in the family, and that process will allow you to stay in the US and waiting for your green card. Okay, so this is option number 1. Option number 2, you can come on other non-immigrant visa to the US and stay in the US as long as your I-94, your current status allows, and wait for your priority date. Okay, it's kind of similar to the first one, but let's say if your priority date is August 2022, so you have probably 5 to 6 months of wait. So you need to plan for it. You come on a student visa, you go to school for 6 months, then your priority date kicks in, and you adjust your status. Okay, so that's the second way. And everything else that I could tell on this topic is going to be a hybrid of the first 2 options that you have. Just by having I-140 approved, it doesn't matter if it's EB2 NIW, if it's EB1A, if it's EB1C, it doesn't matter. EB4, EB5, doesn't matter. In itself, it gives you no benefit. No benefit, 0. Okay? Only in combination with adjustment of status if you are in the US. If you cannot come in the US but you have your I-140 approved, you have to wait for the embassy process. Okay? For your priority dates, first you have to wait for the date of filing. And actually, let's discuss this part. When you look at the visibility, okay? And guys, if some of you doesn't know what visibility is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about you, because very important concept. I'm not going to go deep into that. You have to learn this concept. Okay, this is for advanced people, for intermediate and advanced. So in the visibility, there are 2 tables: date of filing and final action. Okay? What's the difference? The difference is as follows. Your date of filing is the date when you can start your immigration process through NVC, National Visa Center, if you are outside of the US. Okay? And usually the date of filing, they are much closer to today than the final action. So I believe, don't quote me on that, but for EB2, the final action date is April 2022, and date of filing is December 2022. So much closer to the present time, okay? So if you're outside of the US and your priority date, like I said, August 2022, or no, your priority date is yes, right, August 2022. You can start your process through NVC, but you will not get to the interview until your final action date kicks in. Okay? So until final action gets to the August 2022, you will not be called to the interview. Okay? But all your paperwork is going to be in the embassy, just waiting for the final action date. Sometimes, rarely, in a particular visa bulletin, the USCIS can say, hey, you can use your date of filing for the purpose of 485 if you are in the US. So they have to specifically say it in this particular visa bulletin. All right? Then in this case, you look at your date of filing, and if your priority date is before it, you can file for adjustment of status. But you will not get your green card until your final action, but you will get your work permit and advance parole. So, which resolves a lot of problems. All right? So, let me see if you guys, okay, I see now, Mr. Kravchenko, you're a guy. Okay, good. And you're single. You're gonna have a great time here, Mr. Kravchenko, when you come. Because there's a lot of beautiful women in the US, so you'll have a lot of options. Congratulations. So, guys, I hope those of you who are in the intermediate level and advanced with the immigration laws and everything, and how you get there, well, it's very easy. Every Thursday you come on my stream, you watch my YouTube videos, you read my post on Insta, you look my TikTok, sometimes they're funny, sometimes they bring a lot of value, okay? So if you do only this, you're gonna be intermediate really fast, you're gonna get advanced sometime in the future, okay? You will know everything about, at least you'll need as much to understand everything you need to know, okay? You don't have to know how I'm drafting your memorandum when I file your case, okay? That's too much, okay? But you will know how we're gonna satisfy the criteria of the visa that you're filing for. Okay, last question, guys, last question. CyberSec, would you file the visa petition on our behalf, or should we proceed directly to the embassy, assume O1 plus the company? CyberSec, absolutely, I would file the case on your behalf. If I draft your petition, I'm going to be the one to file it, okay? Because I represent you before your SCIS. So if you hired my company to do your O1, in about 6 months, we're going to file with the USCIS here in the US, regardless where you're located, in the USA or outside. And then if you're outside and if you hired us from the second package, okay, and you guys know that we have 3 packages for each visa, then we will be guiding your case through the embassy as well. If it's the basic package, then we'll give you the instructions and you go on your own. If it's advanced or premium, we're gonna go until you get your visa. Okay, so that's how it's gonna work. All right, guys, I think we're through. Thank you very much for your time. Don't forget to get a free evaluation of your case. The links to get the free evaluation are under any YouTube video that I have for talent, for business, for investment. Today's Thursday, so have a good productive end of the week and have a good weekend. See you next Thursday, same day, same time. I'm Stanislav Shamayev, a lawyer of the future. Your future begins here. Good luck.